We are back, my friends, and we have 45 minutes to check out here, so it's going to be a snappy one. No choice. Hard deadline here. Scotch tape, scissors, rubber bands is keeping it all together here. Artist Journal, October 19th, 2023. Broadcasting from the frontiers of the continent here in Europe, in Rome, Italy. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and welcome back. And big shout out and thank you for the awesome space yesterday, Michael Nicolaou. Totally awesome. History of Hen. Kind of an important story. And, you know, I don't really know that story. I kind of saw it on the periphery on Twitter. Again, I joined December 2021. You know, but I do remember actually when Hen was taken down. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm glad I didn't, mint before then, but maybe, it all worked out in the end. So anyway, there is a ton to get through. And again, I have a hard deadline here in 45 minutes to walk out this door. So let's get into it. And again, just big shout out and thank you to everybody who showed up to the spaces. So first show on the road here. And we have about a week of work here. So there's, of course, a ton to look at and get through here. So Hasdrubal Waffle. I don't know if, I don't know how many people saw these works here because not a ton were minted. These were on Zora, which is actually pretty interesting and cool in and of itself. Hasdrubal Waffle's Twitter account has disappeared again, and there was talk, although I don't know how much credence to put into it, of kind of disappearing until June when the school year is over. So let's just look at the title of this work. So before leaving, at least for the time being, a few works here, Waffle editions on Zora, sim exit hacks. So look at how gorgeous this is. Just everything combining here, sim exit hacks. And I'm not even sure. I mean, that could mean so many things. Is it The Sims the game, or is it simulations? I don't know. But it's stunningly beautiful. And of course, as I always mention here, using a lot of kids programs, looks like using more than one. Beautiful contrast here in what looks like this kind of, I was going to say rainbow, but multicolored CMYK word bubble here with this gorgeous pattern cycling through it. And then some kind of cool, weird 3D stuff. Beautifully pixelated face here. I mean, the great thing about Hasdrubal Waffle, this guy kind of peeking his head out in the corner here. The wonderful thing about Hasdrubal Waffle's work, among many other things, and he will be missed in the meantime, is there's so much to just chew on. There's so much visually to just sink your teeth into, metaphorically, and even this awesome text in the background here. So there's just a ton to love. Now, they are on OpenSea on secondary. I say good luck getting one. I guess someone will probably part. But there are only 18. And so which makes me think that this was, announced on Twitter pretty low key. And before you knew it, it's gone. And the open edition has been, ended. And here are some of the other ones here. So here's Waffle's page, call them Waffles for short here, on Zora here. And as you can see, 22, I need to fix the camera in the next show here, 22 editions. I missed this one. I was lucky enough to get these first two. And then another one came out, trademark Hasdrubal Waffle here, 18, minted on that one. So just a super cool series, and as you can see here, Hijo Kaden. So not sure what that means either, but just another beautiful combination of several, I guess, styles and what look like different softwares here. And, I mean, again, just making it look easy, and in a weird way, maybe it is easy for Hasdrubal Waffle at this point. These sort of, again, I think of like, these doodle artists like Basquiat and Keith Haring. This is kind of like in the same kind of style for me in a very general sense, which is the doodle style, kind of the sketchbook style the style of people who were in high school who didn't pay attention and were just doodling in their notebooks instead. And that's what this all looks like. The beautiful thing about kind of, for lack of a better word, mastering that style is once you do, you're kind of good to go. You can just kind of do anything, anywhere, anytime, and it all kind of looks gorgeous. And that's kind of what I see here, is everything just kind of looks gorgeous. It, you know, the decisions, everything, the beautiful stairs here, it's beautiful. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. So maybe a kind of a goodbye of sorts here. I unfortunately missed this one, and these almost look like Hasdrubal Waffle-like characters. There's the cook, and maybe there's the bird guy, the alien maybe, and who knows, with the machine gun and everything. Let's see if we can actually go a little closer on that. Look at the great dithering in the background here too. It is my first time doing this kind of double screen on the road, so forgive me, and hopefully the lighting will be better. I had to choose my computer or the light. Unfortunately, I had to turn out that light over there. But I just wanted to highlight here very quickly the great dithering. See, and look at how the dithering kind of breaks down. It almost is reminiscent of Yuri J in here, how it turns into this just kind of cool filter patterning. Look at all the, the greatness in this work here. And look at up here, the boldness in keeping this kind of fuzzed out JPEG here. And of course the cook and everything. And look at this, even looks like it's transformed maybe here. So just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work here, as per usual. So again, big thank you and shout out to Hasdrubal Authentic Waffles. We look forward to your return. Big shout out and thank you to Michael Nicolaou, who again, great turnout by the way here too, 219 tuned in, which is actually pretty good these days. For a space, that is pretty good. So there's a lot of interest out there for the history of Hen, and it was super interesting. So give that a listen if you're interested. It is in my feed. And also, if you're interested, Michael Nicolaou puts articles on Effects Hash, and I didn't realize you could do that. So that is pretty cool. And if you're looking for the Hen article, it is down here. From Here and Now to Infinity and Beyond, exploring the story of Hick et Nunc, which means here and now, which I didn't even know. I read that in just, maybe it was in one of Michael's articles here, but also some other works here on alchemy, metaphysics, and more. Just published October 12th. Big shout out and thank you. This scene is awesome. And this just kind of makes you remember that. You want to know about Digital Arts Underground, interested in discovering new artists, you have not checked your feed today, try Adrian Pocobelli's Artist Journal. This is not a news channel, so big shout out and thank you to Uck. It's amazing to get such prominent artists commenting on this show. So huge shout out there. And also mech.txt. So I was singing the praises here of these incredibly beautiful works here, and Michael Masso gave us some info here. I made all the tiles myself. So all these little tiles here, actually Michael Masso made, which makes it kind of extra cool in my world. And in my mind, I was reciting the visual direction of Dwarf Fortress, Angband, Tumi, ADOM, the old roguelike games. But it evolved over time themselves, almost like they have their own minds. The aim was to make some kind of exploration to combine a couple of different things, a blend of abstraction and definitive figures, panoramic view capabilities, and also top-down views, like a map, and also just simply trying to push out of my comfort zone. Thanks a lot for the feature. Well, these works are, again, some of the most exciting works I'm seeing here. And again, it captures all of the beauty of like Ultima 4, which I keep coming back to, but totally different. That is my frame of reference, but totally different, but capturing the beauty, and they're incredibly exciting works. And you know what else is exciting is, again, I just think of this physically, and these aren't like, to make these into screen prints is not rocket science. And I look at this and I just go, this would be stunning as a screen print here. We have a few more. Look at this beautiful combination of these other kinds of large kind of vertical pixels. Remember, not all pixels are the same. Well, we're back to that idea here. And almost it looks like Michael Micasso is working with a kind of vertical, canvas, so to speak, even in these works, the trees and the different signs here that Michael Micasso made. So he made these trees. He made this water. Again, I find this incredibly inspiring, and it's something that it makes me want to do it. I mean, and that's usually some of my favorite work is work that really just makes you want to get down and try something similar. This is amazing. This is truly amazing. And here's just a gorgeous, gorgeous landscape. And I have to say, all those color studies that Michael Micasso did, like you see the payoff here. And again, you see it up here in this beautiful kind of sky, or maybe that's sea, maybe that's clouds. It doesn't even matter. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And again, the color. And I'm not sure if we saw this one. I don't think we did. And look at this lighthouse, this light coming out, or whatever that is. Again, reminiscent of like ancient Greece here. And for whatever reason, this style goes really, really well with the classical world. So again, classics is one of Michael Micasso's big themes, and also architecture. So it's a beautiful combination here, and almost like these buildings at night. So again, all these color studies that Michael Micasso did have been paying off. A few more kind of behind the scenes kind of work in progress. This is from Rada. I'm doing an artwork for Fear for Tez event. This piece is about horror, dehumanization, death, and Armageddon. I'll be sharing the progress here. Wish you the best of all you and your loved ones. Stay safe. And there is actually a comment in, I think it was here. Was it Bosque? There's something I actually wanted to highlight here. Better than the normal dark news show, the news we all artists want to see and listen, good quality news of the art scene. I had this thought in my head. I almost wrote it down, but I decided not to as a reply. It's like maybe in the future, the newspaper of the imagination will be the main news and not all of this other stuff. And so anyway, thank you for that, Bosque. And so let's look at Rada's progress here. And a nice diversion here as we navigate our way through this world here. So here is the beginning. So you see the outlines here, and let's just go through it here. And then interesting kind of big oval, and then a bit of background color, almost like the underpainting sepia colors. If you're ever looking for a way to just get rid of the blank canvas, often just putting a sepia underneath is a nice way to start. All the color kind of vibrates off of it. And here we see the continuation here and the changes that take place here in the creation of a Rada masterwork. And these great little comments here, echoes of the silent, a symphony of suffering. So just very, very, very cool. You see how much work. It's not just like a simple sketch that kind of gets filled in here. It is a real, work in progress here. So I'm not sure, this may not be the finished version. So let's just make that big here. But you see how beautiful it is. Again, Rada, a great pixel artist who got a lot of us, buying NFTs early on, buying NFT art, a couple of years ago. And just awesome. So big shout out to Rada. And we don't have time to go through all of it, but I did want to highlight this. Dither, who does those TVs, went into a deep dive on how the TV works are made. And so, again, I am pressed against the clock here. But you will see, if you go to Dither's feed, you'll see how these were made. And these are really cool works, great. Look at this, like real deep dive on how these works were made, almost emulating the TV screens here with that work with Manidal and scan lines, right? So just, again, we have too many works to go through here, but I did just want to highlight this for those that want to know more about Dither's work. Look at this. Beautiful, like work, making of kind of work here. And collaborated, of course, with Michael Masso there, classical themed works. If you made it this far, thank you so much for taking the time to read through this. As you can see, a lot goes into each one of these pieces. So go check out 0x Dither's feed to see the whole thing. A very cool artist who's shown many of the works on this show. And this was highlighted to me, and I think we've seen, and who is this? Helio Santos. I think I've seen in a previous episode some of Helio's works, these paintings that are made with a pen plotter. And so just, again, a fascinating process here. A beautiful way of making, digital works physical. And that looks like oil paint. You see the Winsor Newton paint here. And yeah, for those that are wondering if you want oil paints, there's student version and then there's the professional version. As they say, it's actually good to get the professional because working with the student version, they tend to break down and it's actually not worth it, even though they're a lot cheaper. Strano, my top collected artist, thanks for the insight. So NFT Biker came up yesterday on the show as well. And it looks pretty cool here on nftbiker.xyz. You can see, collect my top collected artists. So you can just more tools here. So I've been meaning to use these tools literally for months, and I think I'm going to try this week. It looks super useful. Any artist, really, that's minting on Tezos probably wants to check this out. So just a heads up on NFT Biker, still adding to the suite of tools here. And finally, I wish OMG Blog had more recognition for the massive support he gave the Tezos scene since 2021. I'm really grateful for that. L444U. So I've seen OMG Blog's name a ton, and so let's highlight that here too. So shout out to OMG Blog, and thank you L444 for you for highlighting that. RJ, as we get into the works here, and we're going to have to kind of speed through this here. Stretchers and Pepe. Let me see if I can make this slightly bigger. So playing off of another work, and I believe after Claudio Bravo's Stretchers 2008. So, of course, RJ doing a pastiche of Claudio Bravo's Stretchers. And what I love about these works, and we're going to see a couple of more, is we see them kind of done with pixel art. This beautiful kind of rendition by RJ of pastiche of this other work, and then kind of changing it a little bit, adding the Pepe figure, but the Pepe looks so beautifully painted, right? Like, it makes you want to actually zoom in a bit if that's possible. Maybe not right now. Let's see. Bear with me here. Look at how great that is. So, nice contrast, hey? With the pixel art and this kind of painterliness, and RJ does it again, and here are some of the other works. He's got this Pepe Pastiche series, it's called, which is a nice title. Here's another one, after David Hockney, Still Life with TV, so one of RJ's favorites here, Hockney. And here, but probably adding his own laptop. For the next one I brought up, actually, the original that these are based on. But again, this is actually... To me, this makes the piece. This kind of painterly, kind of rough, it almost looks like oil pastel or something. That contrast of, even if it's small, makes a wonderful, just kind of makes the piece. Really adds a whole kind of richness to the piece. And look at these beautiful colors here and everything. This is an edition of one. Let's just see what it's sold for. Sold again to Drew is Fat. Drew is Fat is all over RJ's work right now. Sold for 420 Tezos, adding to his collection. 3 chairs with a section of Pepe murals. So this is based on a Hockney. I brought up the Hockney, 3 chairs with a section of a Picasso mural. And so, all that, again, as I was saying with previous RJs, these silent still lifes shimmering with meaning, in each of these chairs and the beautiful colors. But instead of a Picasso, we have a big Pepe. 3 chairs with a section of a Pepe mural. Available edition of 10 for 69 Tezos. And let's just see, has everything else sold? This one here, this gorgeous Stretchers and Pepe, is 694 Tezos. So RJ has been making a ton of money here in the last month. Good for RJ, like, and deservedly. So doing really well. Has made a lot of big sales this month. So really nice work there. Check out this work by The Myth. Something Different. Writers. Cool title. Cloak. So this is from 2020, and it looks like maybe graffiti artists here. And almost like a semi-abstract work, but a different kind of work for The Myth here. And here we see a figure, spray painting behind a mesh fence, and then, maybe a subway or train car where often the graffiti takes place in those stations. It's great, kind of twisted metal there. Beautiful. Open edition for 29 Tezos. It is finished. So that is on secondary. Let's just see what it sold for on primary. Only 7 Tezos. Really original, different kind of style for The Myth. And more experimentation here from The Myth. We saw the other work, Spell in the Astral, Searching for Reason. So cool title here. This is an edition of 15, and it's only 12 Tezos, actually. And here, again, you see almost like fireworks with the lemon head guy, the mask of The Myth, off kind of in the sky, and all these little homunculi here, and a beautiful pink landscape. Great colors here. Pink sky, light pink sky too. And again, if we go to Myth's older work, we see there's also an experiment over here. And over here in this kind of, for lack of a better term, like splashy fireworks style. So interesting experiments from The Myth. This was beautiful here too. So Uxine spreading the love here. Blues for the Devil, almost a tribute of sorts to Mikey Wilson, who was sent the first piece here. And there it went to Mikey Wilson. So, and there was a tweet also that was put out. So kind of a homage of sorts to Mikey Wilson's work. So having a ton of fun here, and a beautiful Uxine work with this great, solution. I'm a big fan of this. Like, I was never a huge animated GIF guy before I came to NFTs. But what I love about it, and I've actually experimented this a little bit myself in nostalgia studies work, when you're building a work and you're deciding to leave it unfinished, or semi-finished, non-finito, as they say, there's always this sense of, well, why this one rather than that one? Why this version rather than this version? You can kind of, put it on different layers, turn on and off layers. Why one version over another? And what I love about the GIF is you don't need to make that decision. You can actually put 3 or 4 different versions, and then you can make them all work together, and it makes quite a beautiful effect. It's kind of like multiplies the non-finito here. The effect, because you have several non-finitos. So we see that here in this interesting, almost like bullet head here, with the halo here, and the 3-string guitar, and the skeleton playing the blues. So Blues for the Devil, awesome piece, edition of 11, now 142 on secondary, from the great Uxine. Yuri J, also a new work here, so cool kind of interior here from Yuri J, continuing always experimental, kind of defiantly, and here, again, you see the red. I'm not even sure what that is. I mean, they almost look like music notation, but maybe it's something different. Really interesting piece here. Instability, Floors, Walls, and Bedside Tables. Edition of 20. It's now 29 Tezos. Let's just see what it sold for. Sold out at 10 Tezos on primary. Pretty reasonable. One went to GloomTube there. Pretty reasonable for some pretty cool experimental digital art from Yuri J. So very cool there. And speaking of experimental, these guys could almost have a show together. Rustic digital art, The Sky and the Ocean. And again, just kind of classic, upsetting of expectations, shall we say, from rustic digital art. And here we see what looks like a tennis court and almost a city, and then there's sky, but actually that is the sea, so then it kind of raises your perspective, and more sea, and then the sky, but then the clouds kind of combine, and you're not sure what's what. The disorientation of a rustic digital artwork at work here, And I'm loving, again, Rustic took a bit of a break from what I could tell and is coming back and is really super prolific and doing beautiful things. Photoshop and a Mouse, The Sky and the Ocean. Great title. 22 Tezos, edition of 10 on secondary and sold out at only 10 Tezos. One going to Yuri J there. This is great. Artist spine from artists. You gotta love it. Rinny Fish. Rue Bugs Afternoon Tea. So there are 4 of these. Let me just bring them up, see if there's any volume. So here's the first. So we're gonna cycle through these maybe kind of quick. So cool series here from Rinny Fish. See how our internet performs here. And here is another work. So almost playing with a cool kind of abstraction in the background. Different kind of abstraction. A little bit of pixelation there, which is interesting. And so this is Adama. And let's just keep going here. This is Benny. Kind of looks like a similar design in the background, but with different colors, interestingly. Again, it kind of echoes Warhol's screen prints to me. It's just like we take the same design perhaps here. We just change the colors. And there we have a new background. And love these kind of pixelated hearts here, combining with the hearts. And again, this beautiful psychedelic, translucent style here of these pastels. Something very futuristic. Something I haven't really commented on. There's something very futuristic, in my opinion, very mental, in the best sort of way, about Rinny Fish's color palette. And finally, Dido, reminiscent of the Aeneid here. Oh, let me just fix that. And Dido, interesting name here from Rinny Fish. And apologies for the Airbnb internet here. I did manage to get the books in the background here, as you could see. So keeping some consistency here. So just another beautiful work here from Rinny Fish. Let us keep going here. I wasn't sure if I'd ever seen this artist before. Isacost. And I thought this was a pretty cool, just kind of fun and simple, beautiful GIF work here. And also cool in the Japanese kind of print signature style here. Almost an Eye of Ra, or Ray, here, if I'm not mistaken. So interesting combination. And then these beautiful kind of pixels shooting out, or circles coming out of the blue flower here. And moving on, we have to move pretty quickly here. Marcelo Pinel, Libra. So a new edition. Look at all the beautiful art that's come out in the last week. I mean, it's pretty stunning. And again, like, I actually didn't go to museums. I'm in Rome here. I didn't bother. I'm in Trastevere. I'm just walking around the streets and enjoying the cafes. I kind of get my art from this show these days, interestingly. So again, a nice, beautiful edition here from Marcelo Pinel. Beautiful Libra. So that'll be an epic series when it's finished. Grim.eth. Thanks for all collecting low effort. X times Andy 0034. I thought this was a great work here from Grim.eth. There's something kind of like very painterly and almost kind of 19th century-esque about it. I don't know if this is a collab or if this is just Grim.eth. I'm not sure if this is a collab with Andy 0034, but it's really cool. This kind of painterly, it's almost like a negative inverted kind of work here, but with this kind of GIF, movement here. So, and kind of almost like facial recognition, the square there, and almost like how AI recognizes objects and using that as a trope, so to speak. Pretty cool. This was also super cool. Ugo, with a beautiful work of someone smoking, I guess a woman perhaps smoking a cigarette here in this beautiful new style. You gotta love, there's something kind of very, I guess, pop art-esque about this in the greatest of ways, and totally original though. And what's interesting too is I'm not sure you could capture this in a static way. Like the smoke, if you just froze this work, it would not be as impactful, clearly. And I'm not sure it'd work in the same way, but here it works beautifully, especially because the rest of the work is static here. But here the smoke is moving. It really, that's always a powerful effect. Continuing on, Nicholas Sassoon here with a new, rare kind of new work studio study. This was super cool. And again, like there's just so much great work that was put out here in the last week. It has been like, I guess, 8 days. It's Thursday. Last show was Tuesday. There's maybe an Ethereum symbol here, and it almost looks like a server kind of farm of sorts, or, you know, setup. But then here you have VHS, so maybe some reference to old technology. Some VHS cassettes here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work from Nicholas Sassoon. There was an issue with the sale. It went for 1 or 2 ETH, but it was, I guess there was a mistake, so now it's been sent back to Nicholas Sassoon. Maybe there will be another sale. This was interesting. This was found by Gogolitis, and I'm really going to have to speed up here. Glitch Goddess. So just kind of cool artist highlighted by Gogolitis here. Kind of different sort of style, kind of scannerly scanning across here. And here's another one, again, playing with these kind of Venuses here, Gossip Girls. Some more just super cool experimentation. The artist is Ojo Vivo on Object. And here's Gogo. I stumbled upon Ojo Vivo Motion's recent creation, and they've released an X-Files collection that is absolutely amazing. And here's another great one that Gogo picked up. So very cool work here. Speaking of Gogolitis, virtual is real. Doesn't this just remind you of Daft Punk? But it's like virtual is real. I love it. And I wonder, like, we're going to see here some components, as you see here. And I wonder, are these all going to make up the virtual is real work? Or maybe a different, maybe this work here. I'm not sure if I brought that up. I don't think I did. So no, this looks like another, so these all look like they're part of a larger series here that have come out, that is going to be put out here by Gogolitis. So we'll be tracking that. And we're going to look up close at some of these maybe tomorrow. I should have a show tomorrow. No guarantees on that, but I should have a show. It kind of depends on my surroundings and everything, visiting with family. So we'll see if I have some time to do this on my own. This was a super cool, hopefully it loads up here, Cream Sappho with Strano. Look at this. Now, Strano makes these kind of wild, almost metaphysical works of geometric abstraction. So kind of a match made in heaven here. Wild work here. Again, I want to spend more time on these. Like, they're beautiful. Haiti Rocket with a few really interesting pieces. I'm going to cycle through them pretty fast. Feels good. So a Pepe figure. We saw this kind of move with the laptop, this kind of algorithm where you just put in the image and then it all kind of gets sent out. And here playing with that again. Again, the tension of digital copies, playing with repetition. Right, you know, playing with the digital medium here. And here's another. I quite like the up close one because you get that really raw pixelation, which I thought was interesting. You know, when you make a lot of work, you learn also about what works. And I feel like we see that here. It's like, oh, the up close one is quite interesting and beautiful in its own way here. Continuing on, here's a little bit more Haiti Rocket. And again, playing with digital copies here, as you'll see in a second. I thought this was beautiful. And edition of 4, and then playing with, we'll just do the left one, and then we're going to do the right one, digital right. So I find this hilarious and very, very, very interesting. And they are selling, right? So it's not like collectors. There's Absurdity, Sunday Funday, 44 Tezos. So, and why shouldn't they? Right, but it's an interesting. It brings up issues of digital copies, and you know what makes a unique work. And frankly, as long as it's different, as long as it's got a different enough feel, different enough concept, why shouldn't it happen? And so another version, this time with hearts. So very, very interesting work from Haiti Rocket. Here's one from Pamela Cerrone collaborating with Andre Oliveri Cabola. Okay, I really got to I gotta hurry. So check that out. The music's awesome. Okay, I gotta zoom through the rest of this show here because I have to check out in 10 minutes. Okay, bon, another one by Pamelo Cerrone, only 30 Tezos, a 1 of 1. So Pamelo, on a roll here, has the large-scale exhibition, some more cool, really interesting musician, too. Great musician. Like, I mean, just kind of cool new wave, really. Okay. Martin Brooke, Bienvenido. So again, combining what looks like kind of digital painting with video to great effect. Sold out here, and kind of a cool, kind of mysterious portal here, kind of video game-esque in its own way. Come in. Now on secondary for 27, so selling out at 10 Tezos within 8 hours, 12 hours. So nice work for Martin Brooke. That is great. And Limbo looks like has a new one here. And also playing with just, and some more into illustration here, but VHS reference here. And also almost like a video type background in some of these, but different. And yeah, just classic kind of Limbo sci-fi, super interesting artist. Here's another music one. I'm really going to have to speed up here. Segundo by Pomelo. So we've seen one by Pomelo before. Kind of cool jazz. Okay, we have to run. Apologies in advance. I actually need to really speed through this now. This is from a few weeks ago. This is Louis Osborne with a kind of a sad work here, like support. And not sure if there's volume. Oh, there is. Amazing work. I mean, just amazing. Here's another one, Rush Hour. I'm not sure if we've seen this one before. It was posted on Twitter. I thought it was brilliant, though. So another brilliant concept by out of Bristol, Louis Osborne. And Yagis, good morning. I thought this was a beautiful kind of still life illustration here. Again, animated, giving it some, makes it its own kind of feel by animating it a little bit. And a Picasso painting in the background. And this is a work by 407 Atelier, posted by Brian. Density Special, airdropped, thanks Atelier. So that looks new too. And again, I think I discovered Atelier 407 from actually Louis Osborne's collection, if I remember right. Almost looks like a sync, kind of abstraction here. Smonter with a piece called Run in an alley here, and always at a cool angle. Kind of has a sci-fi blob sort of feeling here. It always feels like it's about 100 years in the future with Smonter. Really interesting illustrator. Now 95 Tezos, edition of 15, and selling out at only 50 cents. 50 Tezos cents. One by, on mint.fun, this is Lucky Cat by ralsen.eth. Now, Pixellord, that's who this is. Pixellord.eth. Sorry, Ralsen is probably who minted that. Pixellord is who did this work here. Let's see if we can get it a little bit bigger. And there it is. Almost looks like AI a little bit. Hard to say. And then some cool kind of GIF cycling through. Synths, always a favorite over here. Cool sky. So cool kind of black and white with a little bit of color in it work by Pixellord. Green Ginger, 5 Tezos. Blushville. So another interesting pixel art work from Green Ginger. And here's another one, Astral Radiance. Kind of has almost a bit of a Capin meets Michael Picasso maybe in the framing, but of course Green Ginger's own feel to it. I just went to the Natural History Museum 3 times, actually, when I was in London. I was staying across the street, so I was like, let's just go. That part was awesome with like the volcanoes and everything, the history of the Earth. Fascinating stuff. Anis Abdon, Solar Eclipse, speaking of which. So Anis Abdon, great pixel artist. And this is great, almost taking the sunset trope, but then turning it into a solar eclipse with a reflection there. Beautiful. And this is Muji. Collect for 55 Tezos. Beautiful minimal work here. Again, playing with deluxe paint, and I wonder if all of the screen is out of deluxe paint too, if it's exclusively deluxe paint. This is an obelisk number 6, I believe. Obelisk 6. Chaotic data flow running through a magic stone. 400 by 400 pixels, beautifully small. Collect for 55 Tezos. And ordinals, inscription spotlight. So someone just minted, so just an example of what's going on ordinals. I still want to mint there. This was a very large file, the largest this week at 366 kilobytes. So the lower the better here on ordinals in terms of your minting costs. No wonder. I'm really going to have to hurry here. Beautiful pixel artwork here with almost our Wanderer figure looking off into the landscape here. And here we have Manidal with a video game starting the Halloween festivities here. And I'm not sure how the game is played, but another cool kind of not a number and Manidal collaborating here. Only 2 Tezos, 113 editions. So that is cool. Also Page of Cups, continuing the tarot here from Manidal. So super cool here with almost the killer whale here coming out of the cup. Beautiful. Continuing to be beautiful there. And Cap'n, Sleepy Time, with almost this magic tea here in this beautiful black and white teacup. Continuing on, I thought this was quite brilliant what actually Cap'n was doing. My farewell piece to the Marvelous Versum official. Beautiful thought, doing a farewell piece if you've ever minted on Versum. This is a remastered version of Universum, one of my first mints at the site back in January 2022. Thank you for all you have done for the Tezos community. So a new mint here, a new version on Versum from Cap'n. And here's just another beautiful Cap'n experiment here. Look at this great sun. Beautiful landscape here with some sailboats, maybe warships even. Just gorgeous from Cap'n here. And Walk with this beautiful, of course that's Albrecht Dürer. Finally I recognize the reference here with Duke's like trademark kind of I want to say like almost like there's a filter that that fuzzes everything out. That is like almost like a Gaussian blur kind of filter, but not. It's kind of noisy too. There's probably a few steps in it. Window stacks on Zora, and I'm gonna have to zoom through this. So window stacks on Zora. I wish I could see the name of the artist here. I saw it on Twitter and brought up the Zora, but I don't have their name here, unfortunately. So cool art though, and we'll follow that some more. Not a number, this may have been mentioned before, but DALL-E 3 rocks. Interesting. So this is DALL-E 3. Super interesting. Klaus.tez with another beautiful kind of animated abstraction here, as you can see. Black Diamond, super interesting, posted on Instagram. Datura, Wonderlost, almost like Wonderlist, but Wonderlost, again playing with architectural structures here in black and white. Lorna Mills with a gorgeous work. Lovelorn Orpheus sort of going half underwater here. Beautiful green sky here with that green water. And you can even see some little pixels in here if you look up close. Edition of 32, 44 Tezos. And Bosque Gracias with a few more works in this Native Textures series with the negatives here. Combining the old negatives. Look at this. Just gorgeous. And again, more experimentation here. I can't get enough of this. And here's a beautiful, what is this? The other part of the Drunkenness of Noah. So the Drunkenness of Noah from what looks like somewhere in the Sistine Chapel. Not sure if that's Michelangelo or somewhere else in the Sistine Chapel. And then juxtaposed, as you can see here in red, with a vase of flowers with this gorgeous white negative on the side, cream-colored negative. And this is Paper Doll. A map of sorrows on object, so getting more painterly here from Paper Dolls. So pretty nice piece over here, I think AI. So the AI paintings continue, and here is Skomra with an interesting experiment here with almost like Google-like colors here. And almost like a landscape and then some kind of pixelated, kind of, rough AI figures here. So just interesting work. Mikey Wilson, Search and Destroy, great title. So a new series, AI series from Mikey Wilson. Nice in the background there too. Cool with all the masks. Great AI painting. It's just great AI painting. Tukes, Windows of the Unconscious, more interesting AI work and great title. I will reach out to you, Tukes, this week about doing a space in the next couple of weeks. So thank you for the patience on that. And look at this. This is also by Tukes. It's like a painting. It's like a beautiful, beautiful painting, vibrant tranquility. So AI is getting more and more persuasive with its ability to paint. Here's Lily Illo, right? I'm not sure if this is from the M-Props series, but gorgeous. And speaking of M-Props, Sabato has a award-winning photograph series, which kind of looks like he took award-winning photographs and then put them through some sort of AI process here. Here's some more he posted on, or they posted on Instagram. So just interesting, looking like just playing with award-winning photos here. And repurposing and remixing. So interesting. Created with M-Props Open Studio using Stable Diffusion from Sabato. And here's a new piece from Strange Thing. GM, work in progress here. Nice to see a kind of narrative painting, I guess I would say, by Strange Thing here. And I really have to actually leave this apartment. I have to leave this apartment, guys. Okay, here's more from Strange Thing. Putting video on a suitcase, which is pretty cool. And here is Parsa Mostagim. Auction is live. So a cool work here from Parsa Mostagim, kind of, again, plasticine-like sculptural work. And a whole bunch of physical work here that I'm going to run through. Kate Mary art. Beautiful. Kind of has a Matisse meets Picasso feeling. Look at this by Tim Lahan. Gotta love the subject matter with the black, a palm tree island, sun, and then a black surrounding, pixelated. Here's another one, Dreamcatcher by Abel Berger. Beautiful colored pencil work here. Almost has an ancient Egyptian feel to it. Here's another work that looks bowo.eth. This looks physical, I believe. An expressionist work here. This is also physical. Karina Kedrina, AI poetry, expressive painting and pencil drawing with the help of AI in search of its form. So maybe a combination of physical and AI. Here's a gorgeous work here. Ricardo Cavolo, how's your weekend? I thought this was brilliant and just kind of surprising. Victoria Miro Gallery, very prominent gallery, I think in Venice, also maybe in London. Paper Bowl of Cherries by Chantal Joffe. So this is real contemporary art world type stuff. Pretty nice painting. And here's another one, Jordan Ferguson, Crash 2. Very interesting style here. It kind of has a digital feel to it, but looks like a painting, acrylic on canvas. And of course, we've seen this artist, I think it's Donnie O'Donnell. And we've looked at this artist before, Nine Seagulls. And here's another one, what looks like a dog. Hanks from Riverwoods, Illinois, with a beautiful flower frame. And Jesse Mackison, Ribs and Ribbons. So this is also just a great artist we've been looking at here. Here's a close-up of part of the work. Super interesting, kind of semi-surreal work here. And that is your show, my friends. Thank you for joining me. I'm running out of here. Until next time, take care.